invite to be on stage. Thank you, Brent. Before we start, could we please thank a gentleman that has the most stressful job, and that's Rob running our technology in the back. I know this personally because the last 24 hours I asked him to download my slideshow 3 different times. Okay, so one thing I want to tell you right here. See 39 personals and 900 total? The most important number up there is the 900. I've been over 40 and back under like 3 different times. It's the 900. It's our organization that we have to look out for and support. So I just want to point that out. You guys catching up with my slideshow back there? There, okay, where are we there? Perfect. So we, Jay Kinger and Sheila talked about why. Find your why and why it's so important. I did not find my why. It found me and kicked my ass. So I'm going to bare my soul and share with you my why. Who is here selling real estate during the crash? Look at that, right? I was there too. You know, right when it crashed, I'd go to Home Depot. I knew everyone because they're all realtors. They were working hard, but I stuck through it, you know? And it's a double whammy for me because I was going through one of the worst financial divorces that Charlotte, North Carolina ever saw. So how did it go? I'm driving home one day, and I pull into the house I was renting, and hit the garage door opener, and it wouldn't open the garage door. I was like, geez, son, become landlord. I mean, get a good garage door opener that will work. Well, I go inside, I go to flip the lights on, no power. So I said, I better call Duke Power and get the power on, because I got my kids this weekend tomorrow, and they need electricity. Otherwise, my ex-wife will have me with social services, right? So guess what? I didn't have enough money in my account to turn on the lights. So at 40 years old, I had to call my mom. And that's a hard phone call. And she gets electricity turned on. Guess what? 30 days later, same thing. Call mom again, make that terrible phone call. 3 days later, I'm in North Carolina, my mom shows up from New York. She's like, what's happening here? I said, don't worry about it, Mom, a little slow, things are good. Don't you worry about me. So I said, let me run upstairs, change, we'll go to lunch. I walk back downstairs, my mother's at the kitchen island crying. I'm like, Mom, what's the matter? She opens up the fridge door, and I have jelly, peanut butter, and shredded cheese. Nothing else in the fridge. And she's crying. That's not even my why yet. It's worse. So 4 days later, we're packing up and moving. It is my 4th move in 3 years. Because every time I got in a rental, the landlord would call me up and say, Bill, I hate to do this. Times are tough. We have to sell the rental. But the good news is you're going to be our realtor. I said, great. So basically the commission paid for my move. So we're packing up. And I can't find my 10-year-old daughter. I go to the front stoop. And she's sitting there crying. It's hard for me to get through, guys. So I look at her. I say, Liz, what's the matter? She goes, Daddy, I don't want to move anymore. There's my why. I walked right into my fiance. I said, next house we buy, we do not move again. It's been 8 years in the same house, and I don't have to worry about my daughter crying anymore. But I had to make things real. I had to get through this. So I went back to basics. Open houses, FSBOs, expireds, guerrilla marketing. And for 8 years in a row, I was selling 65 homes a year. I'm not a team, individual agent. I'm all by myself doing this. Bought rental properties. That was going to be my revenue share, right? That was going to be my retirement. Rob Flick, you told me before, that's not the plan, baby. No, it didn't work. Every time I had a rental, something would break, all my profit was gone. So I'm on the hamster wheel. Guys, I can't get off the hamster wheel. I'm going to put myself in the grave at the pace I was going. Then I got the phone call, just like you guys got. Craig LePage and Shelley Johnson called me up and said, let's meet for a beer. I said, okay, let's have a beer. Easy sell. And let's talk about this new opportunity. And they did, and I was open to it. I was ready to sign up like that day. And they're like, hold on, our paperwork's not through. Once we're through, you can be on. It didn't take me too long to figure this out. So, we get asked all the time. We're lucky enough in Charlotte, we have a lot of leaders, and Charlotte's had a lot of success. So I'm going to go through how we got there. Lunch and learns. We started doing a lunch and learn, and the first one was really successful. So then I called up another realtor, and I said, Keely Tays, would you mind starting at a lunch and learn in South Charlotte, about 30 minutes from us? She goes, no problem. Boom, we have a second lunch and learn. Then I hooked up with Marcus Dilly. I said, Marcus, do you mind doing a lunch and learn 30 minutes in the other direction? Sure. We had 5 lunch and learns going for over a year and a half, 5 times a week. That created the momentum. It kept the buzz going. Then we had celebrity events. Jason Gessing would come in town. Brent, Gove, Gene Frederick, Sheila Barajan. And guess what? Those lunch and learns, guys, we had 350 to 450 every time we had these. It was really impressive. Local weekly education. Craig and Shelley sat me down and said, hey, I think we need to do a little extra education. And we had this great office. We sat down with Kathy Burns and Keely, and we came up with a curriculum. And every Thursday, we have education face-to-face in Craig and Shelley's office. And it was great. It depends what we taught. If it was listening presentation, you might have 10 people. When it was social media and lead generation, we'd have 60. The house would be packed. And we went from there. All of a sudden, we have 2 other offices doing education on a weekly basis. Zoom calls. My buddy Rich Thomasini, Tom Hocker, Barry Pulver, we still have them twice a week. Local seminars, how to attract agents. We have that too, 3 times a year. We get about 150, 200 EXP agents together. We have something like this on a smaller scale, and we share the practices that work for us. Impact your real estate career. 3 times a year, we have a 2-day seminar, how to grow your business. We just did one in Myrtle Beach. We have one in January in Charlotte, and then Charleston in May. Why is that important? It's not an EXP event. We're just attracting really good agents to share with them how to get better at selling real estate. Now, we're no dummies. All of a sudden, someone gets up and says, before we start the seminar, we'd really like to thank EXP agents for supporting this event. And we have a little 20-minute show on EXP. And then local social events like Rob Flick was saying yesterday, pool parties, ball games. So we do all that because you got to keep the core intact. When I came over 2 years ago, I think we had about 100 agents in Charlotte. Now we have 1,200 agents in Charlotte. So it's grown pretty good. Now this is really important. Develop leaders by leading down. How can I support 900 agents? I can't do it, right? Somehow, Brent and Gene and Rob find the time, but I don't know how you support 900 agents, right? But if I support my 39 really well, and I help them become good leaders, then I educate them how to support their level 1s, which is what? My level 2. Then it works, and it just keeps trickling down. And that's how you build a successful organization. And you keep the attrition rate low. Okay, let's talk about some proven methods. Get proficient at whatever your style is. Okay, you're not going to copy Brent Gove or Rob or Gene or whoever. Just get comfortable with what you do best. So I've been lucky enough with these lunch and learns to see some of the best come into town and present EXP. Jason Gessing, right? Attorney, really smart, right? Corporate EXP. Well, he's relating to everyone in the room with his high IQ and high vocabulary, the old engineers and now realtors and accountants. He's walking around the room using the word ancillary. Everyone at my table is like, what's that mean? Okay? But he's obviously going to attract a lot of the same like people. Brent Gove comes into Charlotte, tidal wave, right? He just brings this big crowd. That's what he does, okay? And after he gets off stage, there's people like, open up your laptop, I want to sign up right now. People rush to the stage, they want his autograph, they want a selfie. True story. 2 months after Brent left, I was going to lunch with her. 2 ladies came up to me, they were pissed at me. I said, what did I do? They said, you said we could meet Brent Gove. I said, he was here 2 months ago. Yeah, well the line was like 150 people deep, and then he had to catch a plane and I didn't get a chance to see him. I was like, baby, Elvis left the building, you just got to get there a little earlier. Sheila Barajan, right? Heartfelt story. Did you hear that today? So Sheila gets up, crushes it in Charlotte, and then we piggybacked with that because I knew she would crush it, and I asked my 10 top agents in Charlotte, female agents, to get up before she went up and tell their story. It was probably one of the best days we had. It wasn't even my idea. My wife was a big attorney, a nonprofit. She's like, why do I see all these men all the time? Yeah, Sheila come, and that's great. But why don't you put down the mic and get your top female agents? And we did. It was a lot of fun. Oh, Jean Frederick. Jean, I don't see you in the room, but this is going to be fun. Jean is all about connecting with people, building relationships, right? So I give Jean the mic. You know how long he's on stage for? Charlotte, this is Jean. Hey guys, I'm Jean Frederick. How you doing? How long have you guys been married for? Oh. Okay, I'm married 25 years. I love my wife. I've been on the road now for a week. I miss my wife so much. And Jean got choked up trying to get through that, just missing his wife, right? Now every woman in the room loves Jean. Right? Then he goes over to someone else and their grandparents, and he looks at it and says, you have grandchildren? And they say, yeah. He goes, oh, I have grandchildren. I miss them so much. I tell you what, I got this one kid, grandkid. He's got a great name. He doesn't have Eugene like me. He's like, I used to get beat up in the playground growing up with a name like Eugene. He's like, but this kid is going to be destined for greatness just for his name. And Gene leans forward, and he makes sure everyone's paying attention. He has that pause. He goes, you ready for this kid's name? Lincoln Apollo. And he does it again. Lincoln Apollo. This kid's going to be a senator, right? Do you guys want to see a picture of Lincoln Apollo? There you go. Is that a good-looking kid or what? So I called Gene last week. I said, Gene, do you mind if I put Lincoln up on the screen? He's like, oh, yeah, of course. I said, but really, I need Nicole and Brian's number, his parents. I know you're giving me permission, but Nicole and Brian, thank you very much. How's it go? Find your approach, hone your skill, and stick to the script. How do we do that? Okay. Educate yourself on the EXP model. Educate yourself on the system. Once you do, what happens? Your belief in the system grows. And when your belief in the system grows, what grows inside of you? Confidence, right? Well, let's look at this example. If you get a phone call and they're like, hey, Bill Price, I want you to come over my house, do a comparable market analysis and tell me what my house is worth. Well, what am I going to do the next 2 days? I'm going to go into that community in the MLS, and I'm going to find out what their house is worth. And before I go into that meeting, I'm going to make them feel like I'm an expert in that community. I'm going to know the comps. I'm going to know how to market their house. And I'm going to make sure they feel that way. Guys, it's the same thing attracting agents. I mean, there's plenty of times I'll get people on my 3rd or 4th or 5th level, and they'll call me up and say, what's our cap again? For the love of God. You know, in real estate, we have the 3 L's, location, location, location. EXP, we have the world, the world, the world. Don't call me, go to the world, okay? Same thing, educate yourself, your belief will grow, your confidence will grow, and then you're seen as an influencer. Come on, you don't think Brent Gove is seen as an influencer? Why do you think he's a Mac Daddy, agent attractor in the company? Because he is. And if you get all that done, here's your results. You become great at agent attraction. You got to plug in, and you just have to be educated about the system, believe in it, and live it. Babe Ruth, best home run hitter, right? He was also greatest striking out. Brent Gove is our best home run hitter. Agreed? Brent, you strike out this too, don't you? Are you afraid of striking out? The reason he is the best agent attractor, because he's not afraid of striking out. Listen, if he has 70 people on his front line, what do you think, he struck out 10 times? Brent, how many times? Hundreds, okay? So don't be afraid to strike out. It's an opportunity for the agent you're presenting it to, not just for you. It's a bigger opportunity for them. Craig, LePage, and Shelley, who are my sponsors. Craig's a big guy, he's like 6'4", whatever you weigh, Craig. I hug him all the time, and he's not the hugging type. I make him feel very uncomfortable. Listen and learn and become a good student. I'm lucky enough to have the next slide. I'm going to share with the people that affected my life. AJ Maida last year gave me a present. He gave me a book, Building an Empire by Brian Carruthers. He said, Bill, read it. I read it. He said, Bill, read it again. I did that too. Download it, Audible, listen to it. What was he doing? He was leading down. It's AJ, Craig, Shelley, that meeting. So he's looking down his line, and he's going to help Bill out. Then there's Kevin Johnson. That's Shelley Johnson's husband. He's a coach. He travels all across the country. He teaches 70, 20, 10. What is that? Let's relate this to a listing appointment. When you get your butt inside a listing appointment, zip it. 70% of the time, let that seller talk about themselves. Why? People love to talk about themselves. And just listen. 20% of the time, talk about the house. 10% of the time, talk about how great you are. Don't go in there and start talking about yourself. Same thing with agent attraction. You sit down with someone from RE/MAX. Just look at them and say, so what do you like about RE/MAX? Let them talk, let them talk, let them talk. And after they're talked out, they're gonna reciprocate and say, oh, who are you with? What do you like about EXP? Bingo, you didn't shove it down their throat. Talk about EXP 20% of the time, and the last 10%, talk about the benefits that you are experiencing from EXP. Jay Kinder, yesterday he said it great. What did he say? With your level ones, help them get a sale, help them attract an agent. He's so right. Very hard to do. But we need to work hard because we're responsible for the people that we bring over. Brent Gove says it all the time. Put yourself in front of agents. Make the calls. There's no excuses. If you're not growing your organization on your level one, then you're not making the calls and putting in the time. And he's absolutely right. Rob Flick says, be a sorter, not a convincer. Get a deck of cards. What do you want? You want the 4 aces. You don't want to spend your time on the number 2 card, convincing them to be an ace. Move on. Get those agents that are selling 8, 9, or 10 homes a year. Gene Frederick, all about building relationships. He told me a couple months ago, he's like, Bill, call up an agent and say, hey, Stacy, you're a good agent. Do you mind having coffee with me? I have no idea what to do with these iBuyers right now. Just lost a listing. Would you mind coffee? Go meet Stacy for coffee. Don't even bring up EXP. We're also guilty of vomiting EXP because we just want to get them signed up, right? It might take 4 different meetings, a lunch, another coffee. What did you just build? You built trust with that person. If you build trust, they'll be more open when you start talking about EXP. This is not a sprint, it's a marathon. My advice is know your audience. If I'm sitting down with mega agents, right, like Jeff, Marcy Williams, or Scott Lewis, do you think I'm talking about the education of EXP? No. Stock and revenue share, right? That's what they're going to want to hear. They sell 600 homes a year. If I sit down with a new agent, what am I going to talk about? I'm going to talk about KV core, lead generation, and efficiency of the world. So know your audience. Because I know most agents, what they want to do, talk about the rev share. Okay, so this is going to relate to something that was talked about before. Angela Duckworth, she did a study. She's a researcher. She wanted to know why a fireman is so successful, a nurse, an athlete, a realtor, a child in preschool. And you know what she found out after she gathered all the information? Rob Flick, it's not your high IQ. AJ Mida, it's not your good looks, pal. Gene Frederick, it's not all your money. It's your grit. Just like Gene said before. This room is filled with the grittiest people I've met over the last 2 days. You're all going to succeed in this. I hear it, I see it. Because we're not the best looking people. We're not the smartest people, right? We don't have the money these guys have, but we'll get there. But it's the grit that will get us through. So don't ever get disappointed, okay? Just keep forging forward. Last thing, really important. When I got invited to the meeting from Craig and Shelley, I really thought, what's in it for them? Must, I'm great. It must be something, they want me. And then after being here, I realized it's the best gift that they ever gave me, that they thought of me, and they called me. Because the last 6 months, I've been averaging $52,000 a month, every month. So today, I want you to thank the person that invited you, because this model will change your lives. And thank you very much for giving me the stage.